I've been asking them is, have any studies been completed at all?
What is the answer?
They finally just admitted at that table, no.
If you have questions about environmental studies, the perfect table to talk to is right there.
My question is, have any studies at all been done? Environmental, watershed, human impact, traffic, any?
Yeah. So good resources are the frequently asked questions on the website, and also to be able to speak to the environmental table over there. Those kind of questions would be good ones to ask over there.
I did.
Can you answer?
Yeah. What kind of questions do you answer? Oh, you didn't like that.
So I can't answer that question. We have I really don't, because that.
So does the perspective that you're showing here with this being much wider than this, is that representative of anything, or is it just what it is?
Frontage roads on both sides of the highway, and that what you see with those lines are probably on that access of the website.
They don't seem to know this. Do you see?
So has OTA completed any studies at all?
Right here. See this line it is right here?
Yeah. Environmental,
Families.
watershed, water supply,
Live right
wildlife,
here.
human impact. Have you completed any studies at all?
84.
We're starting to.
They don't seem to know.
So you haven't?
You guys know there are 84 homes right
You
here on
haven't
that
completed
line?
any studies yet. This is the best route.
I don't know what's everywhere else because I live in this.
Yeah. Nobody's
But your job
completed
should
any
have been to see
studies.
what was there before you put these maps out. So saying you don't know what's there is really not an answer. It's rude. But this makes zero sense at all. For this distance. All it's doing is destroying people's lives and wildlife. And the reason we move into the country, and now it's being taken away from us.
So has OTA completed any studies at all?
Not completed, as far as I'm aware.
See, and there's the other problem. You've got this route laid out and you haven't done a damn bit of studies. That's fast backwards, people. Sorry.
So have any studies been completed at all?
No, we're currently doing those right now.
No studies have been completed yet. The decision is this is where it's going to go.
So this is the study area.
Yes, and we've been told this is coming. You ain't going to stop it. There might be a little wiggle room. So how can you decide that this is where it should go if no studies have been done?
Well, so as Joe said in the introduction, this is a 1,200-foot wide swath here.
I understand.
And so if our studies
How
out
can you
there,
how can you decide even if within 1,200 feet that it's good if you haven't done any studies?
I can't tell you that because I haven't gotten the results of the study.
I know nobody's done any studies.
Right.
It's all back asswards. It's like if I'm going to go buy a new car, I'm going to study if it's a good car or not. I'm not just going to buy it first and then decide, well, this didn't work out.
So we've done a desktop review, which is where this information has come from.
But no real
But there will
studies.
be study, right? And those are being
Yeah.
done currently right now.
Yeah, no
We anticipate
Is that a possibility? Because we've been told that it's not.
Of shutting it down? I mean, this is the intention of the program at this point. That
Even though nobody really knows.
Correct.
Yeah.
So are you just a right-of-way guy?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm not a right-of-way guy.
As far as I'm concerned, you're the scum of the earth.
Well, what is your function here?
I'm here to try and help answer questions.
Hey, I have a question
At least
for
you
you.
got a job.
At least you got a job.
Yeah, they
Have
took
any
my business.
studies been done at all?
Took my business.
No studies are completed as of yet. We're in the process of getting those started.
So how can you decide if that's a good place to put a route if nobody's done any studies?
We're going to be doing those studies in conjunction with the initial design so we understand where the best location is for it.
But you've already picked out a location
believe
somewhere
that
within that
that's-
1,200 feet.
We
So
believe that that's
why do you
probably
believe
the best
that?
location.
Why-
We shall.
What
we
leads
sh-
you to
we
believe
should do
that?
those studies and determine that we're
I
actually
mean,
correct or not.
what leads you to believe
If
that
we're
that's a
not-
good
If
spot?
we're not correct, then we'll make some adjustments as necessary to refine those alignments in order to determine the best location.
What leads you to believe that that 1,200 feet spot is a
I'm
good
kind of
spot?
out of money.
Done tabletop reviews.
You think you give me a little bit of money so I go get something to eat?
I don't have any cash on me, so.
I'll give you some money. No kidding.
Danny, this summit stinks. Let's get away.
Well, you know. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably one of the biggest questions that people have is how can you say this is a good place to put a toll road if nobody's really done any studies?
We're getting ready to start those studies.
But you haven't done them, yet you've already picked out this spot and look at the response.
We've looked through the available information, and we have decided that this is, in all likelihood, the best location.
Based on what?
Based upon our review of the geometric requirements of the roadway, the terrain, the number of houses.
Where can
the
people go
possible
look at those
impacts.
reviews and study them for ourselves?
We looked at available information that's already out there.
Like what?
You can look at Google Earth and see a lot of the very same
Yeah,
things.
Michael Nash looked at Google Earth and he counted the houses that were potentially going to be destroyed, and yet OTA says they can't do the same thing. But now you're telling me that that's what you guys
I
did.
assume then that what he did was he looked at that 1,200-foot corridor and counted the houses within the 1,200-foot corridor. As you heard tonight, we're not going to occupy that full 1,200-foot corridor. It'll be anywhere between 200 and
Yes,
600
this
feet
we
in
have
all
heard.
likelihood.
We all know that.
So counting the houses within
So saying the same thing over and over doesn't do anybody any
because
good.
that's the actual answer. And
But that's
you're
not an
choosing
answer.
Not to listen.
Yeah, I'm listening, but where can we go look at the research that you did? You're just saying just get on Google and start Googling around?
You can look at Google.
Is that
Earth.
really
You can
what
look at the
OTA
USG
did?
You can look at USGS maps. You can look at the.
Where can we go look at the
Water
reports that
Resources
you guys
Board.
compiled?
We did not compile reports specifically on them.
What did you
we've done
compile?
is
Somebody had to do something.
We've drawn
did you
those
just look
lines
at a
on
map
the
and draw a line?
We've drawn those lines on the map and determined the preliminary location for those
All
to
right,
occur.
I get it. Believe me, we all get it. We're just not buying it because it's bogus answers.
Okay.
No, they will incarcerate you if you resist arrest. Not if we all stand together to protect each other's property.
Sheriff's here. Updates.
I was gonna see if he needs some help.
All right.